Hi, welcome to Propelligent Growth Podcast. I'm Jamal Hirani, founder of Propelligent. And joining me is Vicki Iverson, CTO and founder of Iversoft, which is a custom software solutions company that's helping businesses transform their operations through intelligent technology. So, Vicki, thanks for being here. And it would be great to learn a bit about your journey so far today, and your background, and then we can talk about the topic of today, which is about understanding operational excellence with AI agents.
So, as you said, I'm the co-founder of Iversoft. We've been around for about 15 years. I started out in the mobile app development space and have, kind of grown as technology has grown over those years. And yeah, really working on delivering custom software solutions with a number of different partners that we're building those solutions for. And yeah, as the CTO, I mean, I really get to work a lot with the development team, the QA team, delivering those products and, looking at the best ways that we can be delivering those to deliver that value to our clients.
So, how did you follow the career path of becoming a CTO and a founder in technology? What made you get to do that?
Yeah. Well, my family actually has a background in computer science, so it's funny, you would think maybe that's how I got interested, but that almost pushed me away from it at first. I think they all, wanted me to get involved and I didn't want to. But luckily, I kind of found my own way and took some programming courses in high school that really got me interested in just looking at problems from that perspective and that kind of logical approach to solving things. I studied computer science in Waterloo and, took their co-op program, got a lot of great experience. Also did my master's in AI at U of T, which was a great experience. But then ultimately, kind of decided to go out and, find my own way and eventually found myself kind of freelance developing iPhone apps. And that was kind of the birth of Iversoft was the App Store came along and I had this knowledge of this language that nobody else knew called Objective-C from working with Apple in past. And there was just so much demand for iPhone apps at that time because it was brand new. And everybody wanted one, but no one knew how to do it. And so, saw an opportunity there and kind of seized it and created Iversoft and, built it into an actual company. And then, of course, expanded our offerings, as I mentioned before.
Let's just start with the fundamentals. You've built Iversoft around creating custom software solutions for businesses. And when you talk to founders about operational excellence in 2025, what does that actually look like? And how do AI agents suddenly fit into that picture?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I'd want to take a second and talk about operational excellence because, at least in reference to how we do things,
Hmm.
our clients are working with Iversoft because they know that we're experts at running software teams. We have the processes in place that make sure that what we're doing is repeatable, reliable, and efficient. And I think that that's really foundational before adding AI into the mix. AI can absolutely speed things up, but if you don't have the basics right, AI can
Sure.
also just help you make a mess that much faster. And we carry those values into our use of AI. Yes, coding assistants are great, but we aren't ready necessarily to have them just writing code for us and our clients without oversight just yet. And so one place that we are using AI to great effect is code reviews. That really helps drive the code quality. And also our QA team is using AI tools to automate time-consuming manual tests. So AI definitely plays a role in these things. We're putting it to good effect, but you have to use it with intention.
Got it. And that makes sense because you are utilizing it in terms of your business process and where it helps improve the productivity of that. So now most entrepreneurs, when they hear AI, they immediately think about chatbots and customer service. But You're working on the operational side. Can you just give a concrete example of where you've seen AI agents make kind of the biggest impact on a company's internal process, and what surprised you most about the results?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I will say, like, I mean, part of me is always trying to predict also what's coming next, right? As far as what AI will do and what we need to be looking at. But honestly, anything that I try to predict, I think will be irrelevant in 6 months, and that's just kind of how fast things are moving in this space.
Sure.
So, I mean, right now in software, AI coding agents are hot topic. Personally, I'm not on board with vibe coding yet. Developers will often dismiss it as, non-technical folks generating code that they don't understand, can't maintain. But who knows, maybe 18 months from now, that's all we'll be doing, right? And so it's hard to predict. But what I can say with confidence is that if you're not using AI or you don't think it's applicable in your business right now, or maybe you don't think it's ready yet for the use case that you want, you probably need to be looking harder. AI can definitely reduce operational costs, improve speed to market, raise that baseline quality of everything your team is delivering. And I think like the examples that I said of how we're using it in Iversoft, absolutely we're seeing those things. And I'd say to founders, if you're not actively exploring those types of use cases, you can assume that your competitors probably are.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're going to start to get that advantage over you. And so that window's closing fast, I think, for experimenting.
Well, I suppose I can imagine there's a learning curve also when companies first implement these AI agents. What's the biggest hurdle you see businesses face? Is it the technology itself, or is it getting the team on board, or something else entirely?
Yeah, I'd say, like, honestly, one of the biggest challenges that I've seen is that a lot of teams think that they're using AI, but they're really just kind of playing around at the edges of AI, of what it's capable of. Someone's maybe trying a chat bot, they're getting a weak answer because their prompt was really vague, and they kind of write the whole thing off as not useful. The issue isn't necessarily the technology, it's the people using it who don't yet understand how to get good results out of it. So, there's things like prompt engineering, giving proper context, making sure you're chaining the steps of what you want AI to do. And those are actual skills that, need to be learned. You can't just toss in a one-liner or a half-baked spec and expect it to deliver something magic to you. And so I think in those cases, like, businesses have two options. They can invest in that ongoing training to help the people that they have use those tools well, or they can also pay for products that have some of those best practices baked into them, like the proper prompt to get the exact thing you want. And realistically, you probably need to take both approaches in your company.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll let you finish.
Well, I was also going to add on that a lot of teams are already using AI, whether their founder or boss knows it or not. And so the question becomes, are they using it safely and effectively? Or maybe pasting confidential data into like a free chatbot without realizing the risk. And so I also advocate for, setting proper expectations and guardrails, manage the adoption of AI within your company.
Yeah, I think that's very sound advice. I mean, if we let's dig a bit deeper into the implementation. When you're working with a client who's never used AI agents operationally, what's your approach? Do you start small, or do you recommend going big from day one?
Yeah, I think there's value to both approaches. I think, in reality, I would probably take the start small and experiment, but don't necessarily go too slow. You want to get to the end result, but definitely experimentation is part of it. Find a friction point that's wasting time or that's wasting some of the true skills that your people have, maybe doing something simple or repetitive. You don't just need to chase that novel or shiny application of AI. And you don't need to run your entire company on AI. Make use of what's available. Also, not everything needs a fully custom solution. I find, some people get very ambitious and they're like, oh, we're going to build our own AI, and not really understanding what that means. They think they have all this data and they're going to train this LLM. But there's so many options out there that take less time and investment, that can get you started. And so, only after you maybe experiment and understand the limitations of the cheaper and faster options that are out there, then you can maybe consider like, okay, now I need to move this to the next level. How do I build something myself?
Yeah, it's very interesting approach. I mean, when you're looking at the competitive landscape, how do you actually see AI agents changing the game of small to medium businesses? Are we reaching a point where not having AI driven operations puts companies at a serious disadvantage?
Yeah, I think so. I think, we're still at a point where someone who maybe hasn't adopted AI might still think they're doing okay. But I think, if you're not getting started now, you're falling behind the curve already. And so, the best time to start was, you know, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, whatever. The next best time is right now. And I do think, yeah, like, your competitors are going to find ways to go faster or ways to do things cheaper, more efficiently, and be more effective than you. And it will start to allow some companies to pull away from the competition, or leave behind the ones that aren't adopting it, at least.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair assessment. Um, from a kind of founder's perspective, how do you balance investment in AI automation with the human element? There's always that concern about replacing people versus empowering them. I'm just interested in your thoughts.
Yeah. And I mean, we're not at a place where there's a lot of jobs that just can be completely replaced by AI. I think there's a lot of jobs that people can do better or faster with AI. They might even enjoy their jobs more because they don't need to do those simple or repetitive tasks because they can offload those to AI. And so I think, I mean, there's going to be a shift where a lot more people's jobs involve AI, and where some of the things that they are traditionally doing are going to be done by AI. But I think that, those people aren't just going to be gone. They're going to be there running the AI, and being that human in the loop, whether it's, giving it the right context to make good suggestions, or take good action, or also monitoring what it's doing and making sure that it's being effective.
Yeah, I mean, one of the clients that we've had, their brief was, "I want to turn my humans into superhumans. So now help us, implement AI and AI agents to help turn them." And that productivity has increased, doing more things, bringing products to market quicker, testing things quicker, etc., etc. So I get your point completely. So tell me, you're based in Ottawa, which has this incredible tech ecosystem. So how is the Canadian market adopting operational AI compared to what you're seeing globally? Are there unique opportunities or challenges here?
That's a great question. I honestly don't have a good answer to that. I'm not sure how Canada is necessarily doing things uniquely versus the rest of the world. I feel like it's a very global ecosystem, and I think a lot of, what we're doing is tied to what everyone else is doing. Everybody's following the news of who's coming out with the latest models and LLMs, and there's all kinds of different countries and companies included. And Canada is part of that, and I hope that we start maybe making some headlines and whatnot. But I'm not sure that it's necessarily different right now in Canada.
Okay.
I'd like to keep an eye on that, though. It's a good question.
So let's get practical. If there's a founder listening right now, with a lean team, and limited budget, what's the one operational process they should consider automating first with AI agents?
That's a good question. I think it's about, every company is different. And I think there's different things that take up time within, your operations. And so I think it's really like looking at your operations through a lens of what is it that takes up time? What is it that doesn't necessarily require a human to be doing? What tools are out there that do this for you? And kind of finding that intersection. And so, I mean, I don't know that there's one silver bullet to that of what's that one thing that you should automate. I think each company is different, and it really is about exploring and trying things out.
Okay, so looking ahead, say the next 2 to 3 years, what's one trend in operational AI that you think will be game changing, but that most founders aren't paying attention to yet?
Hmm. I was gonna say something game changing, but I think people are paying attention to it. I think something that's really big in my industry is code generation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think the vibe coding is interesting. I want to do more of it because I'm skeptical. And I think that's probably is something that we all should be doing is challenging our own assumptions and trying out the things that we're like, oh, it can't possibly do that. Yeah. Sorry, that wasn't a direct answer.
No, but no, it's fair. In fact, when you when you talk about vibe coding, when my 19-year-old daughter comes up to me and goes, "Look, what you doing?" and she tells me that she's doing vibe coding, it means that it is really penetrating, and young kids are getting involved because you don't have to know coding; you just need to know English. You must and be able to explain what you want AI to build. It's quite interesting. Final strategic question: what's your best piece of advice for founders who want to future-proof their operations with AI but don't know where to start?
Yeah. I would say for sure, just making sure that you are staying curious as a founder. Always be looking into what AI can be doing, and also get your hands dirty. Like actually try it yourself. The landscape is constantly changing. There's all kinds of different tools coming out and new capabilities. It's getting more powerful. And it's not enough as, the leader of your team to just say, use AI. People hear that and they're like, I don't know what to do. You need to really experiment with it yourself. You need to understand what it's good at, where it breaks, what it can't do, and what it actually feels like to integrate AI into real work that your company is doing. You don't necessarily need to be the expert, but you do need to lead with that kind of awareness of what's going on in AI. And I think that's how you can make kind of smart bets instead of just chasing whatever's trendy at the time. And you can also help your team to adopt AI better in a way that's useful and tied to your business goals.
Okay, that's really sound advice. Thank you very much. All right, Vicky, let's switch gears and get to know you a bit better. So, living in Ottawa, you get the best of both worlds. You've got tech innovation and beautiful Canadian culture. But what I want to know is, are you more of a cat or a dog person?
Yeah, definitely a dog person. We actually founded Iversoft with a dog as one of our staff on our website. When we got our first office, my dog was an employee. She came to the office every single day. And as we grew the team, we had our other staff also bring in their dogs. So, at times there could be, a dozen dogs in the office running around as a
Wow,
pack. It got a
fantastic.
little bit ridiculous, but
Fantastic. Okay,
yeah.
Ottawa has an amazing food scene. What's your go-to cuisine when you're celebrating a big win for Iversoft team?
Yeah, there's so many choices. Iversoft does have like a lot of multicultural options. There is a ton of like shawarma here where like when I moved here I was like, what's that? Um, Coming from Toronto, surprisingly.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'd say one of my favorite places, actually there's a couple of them, but are Indian restaurants. There's a couple of really good ones in Ottawa that we like to go to for team dinners.
Very good. So as a founder and a CTO, you probably have very limited downtime. But when you do get a chance to unwind, what's your guilty pleasure? Is it a Netflix binge, or is it outdoor adventures, or something completely different?
Yeah. I don't have one answer. I have a few. So I have two 9-year-old girls, so they take
Right.
up some time for sure, going out and doing things with them. I also play sports, so I'm big into hockey in the winter, Canadian sport,
Yeah.
softball in the summer, and I'm just about to get my full motorcycle license. So that's a new thing
Wow.
I've added. Yeah,
Wow. Fantastic.
yeah,
Fantastic. So you're going to do the is it the Vancouver to Calgary road trip
probably
on
not
your
yet.
bike? Not
Maybe,
yet. Okay.
maybe I will plan that out though. I'll have
All
to
right.
get some. Yeah.
If you could have dinner with any tech leader, past or present, who would it be and what would you want to ask them?
Ooh, so many options. I just think, kind of keeping it current and controversial, I think it might be really interesting to just like sit down and talk to Elon Musk. I think he would say lots of interesting things, and you could probably ask some questions that could get some interesting responses. He's super smart, but also controversial and
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he'd be a super dinner companion. All right, last one. Okay. Ottawa winters are obviously quite legendary. So, coffee shop that gets you through the cold months, or are you more of a work from home with hot chocolate type?
I do work from home, but I do like coffee. And what I did was I invested in a really good coffee maker, so I can make my own, uh, lattes and americanos and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what I go down to my kitchen for that. That's my coffee shop of choice.
Brilliant. Okay, listen, Vicky, thank you very much. This has been really incredibly insightful. For listeners who want to learn more about Iversoft or connect with you, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I'm on LinkedIn. I don't know if you want me to just say
No, no,
the link.
I'm going to put it in the show notes anyway. So LinkedIn and obviously the Iversoft website.
The Iversoft website. You can also follow Iversoft on, Instagram, Facebook, all of
Got
that
it.
kind of stuff. Yep.
Great. Brilliant. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jamal. Take care.